Fannie Mae now directed to accept crypto reserves. Crypto is going mainstream in mortgages. Hey everybody, welcome back to another D Weekly, where you get your crypto with D Weekly. This week we got some more regulatory news, some global news, a couple of tech advancements, some price movements, although not notable, prices did move, and just a little bit more adoption news that we're following up on from the previous weeks. First story, the FHFA has ordered Fannie Mae and Freddie to count crypto in mortgage applications. This is a major recognition milestone. The head of the federal government agency that oversees Fannie Mae, they want mortgage giants to consider accepting homebuyers' crypto holdings as criteria for buying mortgages from banks. That's right. Not only can you say how much money you have in your bank accounts, how many stocks you own, how many assets you have, you can now say, hey, I got a whole lot of Bitcoin and I can use that as collateral too to back this loan. This is a milestone many people have been looking forward to. Now, let's keep in mind there are some little bitty bullet points, some fine print, if you will. This is just like a directive, which means that it takes time to get done. And people actually have to put in the work to make it legal and get it in black and white and get it in print and make it happen. So, will it happen? That's still on the table, but it is big news that that is being thought of. The second fine bullet print is they are not going to allow private crypto wallets. That's right. So your self-custody wallet that you have in your amazing key card or your key card shell, we're looking at you. It's not going to necessarily work. Why? I don't know. You could take that up with them, but you are, as this puts it here, going to have to take that crypto and put it on an exchange or put it in some sort of KYC gated entity in order to use that crypto to get that mortgage. I know what you're thinking. Oh, I don't like that. Well, those are the breaks. In another story, the Genius Act fuels $200 billion of stablecoin-backed treasury demand. Yes, it is a little bit petty that the man who said he was a stable genius has an act for stables called the Genius Act, a stable genius act, but it should provide a lot of demand for stable coins. How that actually rolls out in the future, we're not going to know. Honestly, we have to dive deep into why so many stable coins need to exist. Maybe you can catch that on an episode of Hashing It Out, which should be tuned into if you're not. But it is a huge regulatory milestone that says like, hey, it could be a Trojan horse, if you will, of other cryptos to get in on the game. But for right now, there's a lot of push behind the stablecoin regulation, as you have seen in past or heard in past episodes of D Weekly. And in a marquee, let's say, enforcement, California, the state of California, levies a $300,000 fine under its new crypto law. This is a big deal because we're now seeing law enforcement protect people's digital assets, which is something that didn't happen about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, if your digital assets were lost or stolen, it was like, hey, sorry, shouldn't have been doing that. Look at you playing around with fire. But now it's a little bit different. So a Seattle-based crypto exchange firm, CoinMe, has agreed to pay the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation $300,000 penalty, right? And this imposes because of this money was stolen out of a Bitcoin kiosk, a Bitcoin ATM, if you will, Bitcoin automatic teller machine. I don't understand that acronym, but it is what it is. That's a little bit of regulatory news in the crypto world. In global news, an article just dropped by Reuters is claiming that U.S. treasuries are facing stablecoin-driven demand and is surging as supply looms for stablecoins. So, the potential for stablecoins to fuel demand for short-term U.S. Treasury securities was a hot topic at a money market fund conference in Boston. So, how can I put this quite frankly? It's no small secret going on in the crypto world right now that one of the largest buyers of the United States Treasuries, the T-bills, is stablecoin issuers, which is very interesting because not only are they required to have one-to-one peg reserves for the dollars and that they issue in the stablecoins that are pegged to those dollars, but now they're also buying debt in the United States to back those dollars that they own. So I don't really know how that shakes out, but it's like dollars backed by debt that's then pegged to stable coins. That's where we're going. It's like, I don't know how to feel about it. I want to be, half of me is very excited. The other half of me is like, I don't really necessarily know how this shakes out. I don't even know how it shakes out good for anybody but the people issuing the stable coins. But we shall see. In other news, Pakistan has set up a national Bitcoin reserve and mining council. So yeah, it is happening in other places in the world. The U.S., for example, has one state, North Dakota, where there's a state-owned Bitcoin mine. It's very interesting stuff. But that is, as far as global news, that's kind of a big deal to have a nation really get behind mining and get behind Bitcoin specifically. And quite a bit of tech advancements in the last week. Some big, some small. Let's start with Bitcoin Core 28.2 is out. Fast relay, taproot descriptor support, and a raft of bug squashes. If you self-host, you should update right now. In fact, Bitcoin Core 28.2 was released June 26, 2025. So it is very new. You want to go and get that right now if you self-host. Another bit of Tech Corner news, Ethereum devs float EIP 7782 to cut slot time from 12 seconds to 6 seconds. Imagine block space doubling without a hard fork. What to know is that really the slot time is going to decrease. It's going to be cut in half. So it was just a float, just an idea, right? Nothing, that's what EIP means, Ethereum Improvement Proposal. So, hey, we shall see. Another bit of Tech Corner news, it's a bit of a teaser. Solana Alpenglow consensus revamp has teased more transactions per second, so a smoother leader rotation. And they've promised a DevNet in Q3, which is like around the corner. So that's a bit of some tech advancements news coming out of this week. You can look into deeper. What I would reiterate for those of you who are self-hosting Bitcoin nodes, you're going to want to update right now. Let's touch a little bit on the market pulse. Just kind of two price movements from the week that are not really notable, but they are there. Bitcoin held above 100K this week. Actually went up by about 1.1%. Not a whole lot, but it did go up for about 105.9K to 106.7K. Ethereum had a slight jump up as well from 2.4K to 2.5. In fact, the price has been jumping a bit, upsy and downsy week to week. So by the time you even listen to this pricing news may be out of date. But at least from the past 6 to 7 days, that's what we're looking at on a weekly closing price. So if price is your thing, you might want to look into it yourself. But if you're trusting just my show, no, there was just a itty bitty price hike. Nothing to write home to mom about, even though your mom probably doesn't care that you're into crypto. Just to let you know. In a bit of adoption news, we do care about adoption, right? Because if you listen to the Bitcoin podcast, and that's what you're listening to right now, you're tuned into the Bitcoin podcast. The DEE Weekly is just a part of that. Adoption is the only thing that matters. But in mainstream adoption, SoFi, everybody knows what SoFi is. Very, very large company that offers financial products for consumers, really great prices, helps people with their debt management, helps people with student loan debt, helps people with just regular personal loan debt. It's a great company. They do good things. So they're making a return to crypto, and they're actually offering trading, staking, and blockchain transfers. So like they're really dipping their toes, which is way, way, way out of the box for them, for a company like SoFi. So to be able to stake your crypto with SoFi services is interesting. Do you need services to stake your crypto? Not necessarily. You might want to watch our other show, Hashing It Out, where we've probably gone over that in the past, but you don't necessarily need somebody to stake your stuff for you. What you're doing is giving them a cut that should be going directly to you. But I don't want to get too into it. If you don't want to take the time, you need somebody to stake their crypto for you, you can do it with SoFi now, which is very interesting because they have a lot of customers. So if they put a nice shiny button in their nice shiny app that says, hey, do you want to stake some crypto with me? You just buy it and stake it here. By all means, you're going to see that in your SoFi app. So that is kind of huge for adoption news. And in other adoption news, the biggest mover and shaker in the US, Coinbase, is at it again by offering a point of sale service with Shopify. So now that makes it very, very easy to integrate with Shopify. I believe has over 500,000 merchants on there, maybe even more. But if you ever use Shopify, you know, merchant comes with quotations. But nevertheless, not to quote actual numbers, but to say that allowing people to have an easy way to check out using crypto, stable coins, or other major cryptos is a huge benefit to merchants everywhere, both small and large. Well, small would be small, medium, or large. There's a range of sizes of businesses. But before this, the closest thing was like Coinbase Commerce, which was a pain in the butt because you had to set up all of your products and all of your SKUs in Coinbase Commerce, and each product had a different QR code, and it was a pain in the butt, and you had to preload the price of that product. So if you needed to give a discount, you had to write the discount as a product. It was such a pain. It was terrible. If you're a merchant and you used these services, you know what I'm talking about. This is going to be much smoother. So, going into the next D Weekly, a lot of these news stories will not have wrapped up, but it is some things to keep your mind on in case that they do. Let's do a quick review. Let's watch the FHFA rollout, details in the mortgage integration timelines. Like I said, it's just a directive. Directives sometimes happen, sometimes don't. 'Tis is life. We also want to take a look at the Genius Act and see as it moves into the House, because it could reshape stablecoin issuance. We don't know how that playing field is going to shake out, but we do know that if it passes the House, then it goes to the White House to get signed into law, and we will see how that goes. And also, you're going to want to monitor SoFi's rollout. And for those of you that are SoFi customers, which is quite a few people, I know there's a lot of you out there. I see the numbers that they post. You are going to want to follow up to see that, like, hey, when are you going to get that crypto staking button? Yes or no? You may or may not. So, thank you for tuning in to D Weekly, where you get your crypto with D Weekly. Crypto, breaking into mortgage. We got more treasury companies. Laws are being written. Code is being shipped. Please subscribe, and, maybe you can tell me which story that you'll follow when, after you're listening to this D Weekly, you're like, oh, I'm going to follow that story. I want to know what's going on with that. I want to know what's going on with that FHFA directive. I want to see if I can get a new house backed by my Bitcoin holdings. Why not? So, thank you all for tuning in. Please please subscribe, and tune in next week for another episode of D Weekly.